World Nutella Day is on February 5th, and so today we are celebrating with a decadent DIY chocolate hazelnut emulsified body butter. This formulation smells absolutely mouthwatering and contains a vegan collagen alternative to help smooth and rejuvenate the skin. Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me. This formulation is a bee bettering of a project I first shared in February 2014. This updated version is softer and creamier than the 2014 original and also features more of the star ingredients. If you'd like to check out the 2014 original, or if you have any questions about this formulation, substitutions, scaling, all that kind of thing, make sure you are reading the full partner blog post that is all linked in the description box below this video. But let's get started. I've kept the heated water phase for this formulation pretty simple. To start with, you'll need 59.8 grams of distilled water. Up next, 5 grams of vegetable glycerin for an inexpensive moisturizing boost. And lastly, 2 grams of powdered panthenol, also known as vitamin B5, for its skin-soothing, moisturizing wonderfulness. Our emulsifier is 3 grams of glyceryl stearate and PEG 100 stearate. And I'd say this change is the biggest difference between this updated version and the 2014 original. This emulsifier is really special because it just emulsifies. The 2014 version used Reedemul's SCG, which is a lovely emulsifier, but that emulsifier also thickens our formulations. The nakedness of this new emulsifier allows me to use a lot more oils and butters to create a richer formulation, but without it being weighed down by the thickening that a self-thickening emulsifying wax brings to a formulation. If you'd like to learn more about this awesome emulsifier, please look it up in the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia. There's a ton of information about it there. Because this emulsifier is absolutely key to the performance and consistency of this body butter, you cannot swap it out. So if you don't have it, go ahead and make the 2014 version instead. It's still really lovely. The rest of our heated oil phase is mostly our 2-star ingredients. First off, you will need 8 grams of a gorgeous, fragrant, unrefined cocoa butter. Mine is from Baraka and it was a gift. This is slightly more cocoa butter than I used in the 2014 version, but it's still not a ton because I wanted to ensure that the final consistency of this emulsified body butter was soft and scoopable. Our 2nd-star ingredient is 13 grams of hazelnut oil. This is also a slightly higher percentage of hazelnut oil than I used in the 2014 version. I'm using a cosmetic grade cold pressed hazelnut oil, which doesn't really smell like anything. But if you would like a nutty note to your formulation, keep an eye out for a bottle of toasted food grade hazelnut oil. You'll also need 3 grams of cetearyl alcohol. I didn't include any cetearyl alcohol in the 2014 version because we already got lots of fatty thickening from the emulsifying wax we used. Because glyceryl stearate and PEG 100 stearate doesn't contribute any fatty thickening to our formulation, I was able to choose exactly how I wanted to get that fatty thickening and where I wanted to get it from. And so it's a combination of the cetearyl alcohol and the cocoa butter. And the last ingredient in our heated oil phase is 0.2 grams of xanthan gum. This tiny amount of xanthan gum boosts the slip and body of this formulation. I've included it in the heated oil phase because it can't clump in the heated oil phase, and once we combine the heated oil phase with the heated water phase, it'll activate just fine. The first ingredient in our cool down phase is a really neat vegan collagen alternative called Natra CollaV. You'll need 4 grams of it, and this ingredient helps boost barrier function, improves moisturization, and helps smooth and rejuvenate the skin. This was a gift from Voyager Soap and Candle. To further boost the gorgeous chocolatey scent of this formulation, you'll need 0.2 grams of cocoa absolute. If you don't have this ingredient, you can replace it with more water, or you could use a chocolatey fragrance oil, or something that you think complements the cocoa scent you get from the cocoa butter. You can definitely have some fun here. Just make sure you are working within IFRA guidelines. 1 gram of a chocolatey colored mica makes this formulation look like chocolate. That's really all it does. If you don't want to use it, just replace it with more water. 0.5 grams of liquid Germall Plus is our preservative, and 0.3 grams of vitamin E or tocopherol helps delay the onset of rancidity. To make this chocolate hazelnut emulsified body butter, begin by combining the ingredients for the heated oil phase and the heated water phase in 2 separate heat-resistant glass measuring cups or beakers. When you're choosing your measuring cups or beakers, make sure that the head of your immersion blender can fit into the beaker that you put the oil phase into. Weigh the heated water phase and write that weight down. This will allow us to replace any water that is lost to evaporation during heating. To heat the phases through, pop both of the measuring cups in a water bath. So I use a saute pan that has about 1 inch of water in the bottom of it. Pop both of your phases in there and then take that into the kitchen, pop it on your stove stovetop over medium-low heat and leave it there for 20 to 30 minutes until both phases are the same temperature and the emulsifier, cocoa butter, and cetearyl alcohol in the heated oil phase are now liquid. Once both phases have melted through, remove your water bath from the heat. Place the beaker containing your heated water phase back on your scale and use a bit of preheated distilled water to bring the weight back up to that number we wrote down earlier. Up next, pour the heated water phase into the heated oil phase. With this emulsifier, it does not matter which phase is poured into which. I prefer to pour the water phase into the oil phase because the water phase can't re-solidify if it contacts a colder bit of glass in its beaker the way that the oil phase can. If the oil phase re-solidifies on a cold bit of glass, then you have to scrape it out, and now it's solid and it's just a pain in the backside. So I prefer to pour water into oil. Give the mixture a quick stir and then grab your immersion blender. Blend the mixture for about a minute, making sure to start slow so you don't spray hot liquid product everywhere. After about a minute of blending, switch to hand stirring. You need to be pretty diligent about stirring the emulsion for those first few minutes until the emulsion has gained some viscosity, but after that you can walk away and come back and give it another stir every couple minutes until the emulsion has cooled down to the point where it's just kind of barely warm. If you have a thermometer, we are looking for below 40 degrees Celsius. 40 degrees Celsius is roughly the temperature of a nice hot tub or hot bath. So I like to use my wrist and kind of touch that to the beaker, and if it feels like that would be a pretty chilly bath, then we are good to move on to the cool down phase. Add a scoop of the now cool emulsion to the dish containing the cool down phase and whisk until smooth. Once that mixture is smooth, scrape the cool down phase mixture back into the big batch of emulsified body butter and stir until everything is thoroughly combined. And that is it. The last thing you will need to do is transfer the emulsified body butter into some sort of wide-mouthed wide-mouthed tub or jar. I used a 100 milliliter screw top jar from Humblebee. It was a gift. This formulation will continue to firm up for about a day after you make it, so I've got two different versions here to show you. This is the version that we just made, and you can see that it's starting to kind of eke out of the edge of the container a little bit, and it's still pretty soft. This is the version that I made for the blog post. This is about a week old. You can see that it has thickened up quite a lot. I would not want to do that with the version that we just made today, and it is quite a lot thicker, but still like lovely and scoopable and spreadable and decadent, and I love those soft peaks. To use this gorgeous emulsified body butter, the first thing you're going to have to do is resist the urge to spread it on toast or waffles, and instead just spread it all over yourself. This formulation should easily last a year or two, but to learn more about shelf life and preservatives, please make sure you check out the shelf life and preservatives section of the Humblebee and Me FAQ over at humblebeeandme.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Happy World Nutella Day, and I will see you next time. Bye!